that the take-up reel is in place, we're going to go ahead and remove all the packing material from it. We're going to go ahead and take the core off and set it aside for right now. Now we have to assemble the communication cable and connect the communication cable to the printer. First, you want to loosen the end cap, slide it over. As we unpack it, you want to make sure it goes through the cable supports, as well as the two cable supports on the horizontal strut. Next, you want to attach it to the printer take-up reel. You do that by removing the door, setting that aside, and attaching this correctly. It's very important you make sure that cable is seated correctly. Now that the take-in reel is connected to the printer and assembled, we're going to go in and install the take-up reel in the front. Assembling the take-up reel is just like the take-in reel. You want to remove all the foam, the plastic, and then put it into place. Just like the take-in reel, you want to be careful not to grab it by the bar or by the end caps. Always grab it by the base bars. Ready, Ryan? Now that the take-up reel is in position, we can go and remove all the packing material and bolt it together. There's 4 bolts on the right side, 3 bolts on the left side. Remember, you can tighten down the ones on the left side, but you want to leave the right side finger tightened until we're done with our adjustments. So now we're going to connect the communication cable from the take-up reel in the back. As you connect the take-up reel communication cable, you want to make sure you feed the cable between the 2 struts and then feed it up into position. Attach it and screw it in, and then make sure it's put into the cable organizers. Now that the printer is completely assembled on the stand with the take-in reel and the take-up reel completely attached, you've done all of the assembly. But before we turn the printer on, you want to do a few adjustments. This will require that you use the adjustment paper that came with the printer. The adjustment paper is a clear vellum type material, but at one side it has a loop. So you're going to want to feed the take-in core through this loop so we can do the adjustment. You want to make sure the media lever is released. You want to make sure the left side is locked down tight. In this case, we're going to slip the loop of the adjustment paper over the core, put the core into the left edge, slide the right edge guide over so it's inside the core, lock it down, and then go ahead and tighten it until the purple part disappears inside the collar. And now, since we're doing the adjustment, we're going to go ahead and feed this through the printer. For your very first adjustment on the take-in reel, you want to make sure the loop is all the way on the right side of the core, and then feed the media through the printer. Now from the front of the printer, you want to pull the media tight, make sure it's straight, put a straight edge right next to the white line, and taking a pen, you want to draw a line right along there. Now we've made our mark on the adjustment media, we want to slide it all the way over to the other side of the printer. Now on the right side of the printer, you want to pull the media so it's tight and check where your line lines up with the front edge of the white line. Now this one you can see it lines up pretty well, but if you needed to, you could turn the adjustment screw counterclockwise to make the line go that way, or clockwise to make the line go this way. Bottom line is you want to make sure that your line you drew lines up with the front edge of that white line. Now that we've aligned the take-in reel, it's time to align the take-up reel. Remove the vellum adjustment sheet from the back and we'll put it on the front. The take-up reel does not have a locking screw like the take-in reel. Simply push the left edge guide until the purple part disappears in the collar and then lock down the screw at the base. It's very similar. All we're going to do is feed the media adjustment sheet through the platen. We're going to mark it. Once the media is fed through, just like we did on the take-in reel, make sure that you line up your straight edge ruler with the front part of the white line and make a mark. The next step is to slide the adjustment paper over to the right side of the printer. And check where your line lines up with the front edge of the white line. Now this one you can see it lines up pretty well, but if you needed to, you could turn the adjustment screw clockwise to make the line go that way, or counterclockwise to make the line go this way. Bottom line is you want to make sure that your line you drew lines up with the front edge of that white line. Now that you've finished adjusting the take-up reel, you want to tighten down the screws that we finger tightened earlier. Now we're ready to connect the printer with power cables and with our connectivity cables. So the printer supports both Ethernet and USB. So we're going to go ahead and plug both those in. You don't have to use both, you can use either without a problem. We also want to plug in our 2 power cables. The printer also comes with a little cable organizer. That's put right underneath to make these cables look nice and clean. When you plug the printer in, you want to make sure that you have 20 amp circuit. Each one of these outlets requires 10 amps. It's standard 110 power. But once we've got it plugged in, we're ready to fire up the printer. Before we can turn on the printer, we got to make sure we have all of our ink. It should come in a box like this, and it should have 4 cleaning cartridges, and 1 each of the cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Go ahead and set this box aside and start unpacking our cleaning cartridges.